joining us now to talk about the Comey insubordination and the blatant political bias that escaped at least the Inspector General and his conclusions. Congressman Jim Jordan. He serves as a member of the House Judiciary Committee and Oversight Committees. He's also the co-founder of the influential House Freedom Caucus. Congressman, good to have you with us.
Good to be with you.
First, your reaction to the conclusions here.
Yeah, Director Wray is just not accurate, because in the report itself it says we do not have confidence that Strzok's decision was free from bias. What are they referring to? They're referring to Peter Strzok at the end of the Clinton investigation saying let's focus on Russia and not looking at Anthony Weiner's laptop and stuff that relates to the Clinton investigation. And why is that important, Lou? Because the one text message that was so explosive in this report is the one where Peter Strzok says, "We'll stop President Trump from being president. We'll stop him." That to me is amazing. So that's the context, and understand that. So for Director Wray to say that there was this was free from bias, that is just not accurate. Mr. Horowitz himself said we do not have confidence that Strzok's decision was free from bias. In other words, that's like saying this guy had an agenda, and it's obvious to anyone who looks at this in the right way.
Do you think the Inspector General looked at any of this in the right way? Because I think that his conclusions are non sequiturs. I mean, he writes this report in much the same way James Comey announced the predicate for his conclusion in terms of prosecuting Hillary Clinton. It sounded like he was going to charge her and then suddenly said, no charges.
No, I think it's a thorough report, but I think he lets the facts speak for themselves. For example, this text message, "We'll stop it. We'll stop President Trump from being president." Remember when this comes. This is just 8 days after Peter Strzok has opened the Russia-Trump investigation. They opened it on July 31st. This "We'll stop it" text message happens on August 8th. And then just 6 days later, we have the text message that refers to the insurance policy. And then just a few weeks after that, we have POTUS wants to know everything. President Obama wants to know everything we're doing. So when you look at that in context, this is scary stuff. And this is why it's important that we do get Peter Strzok in for a deposition, why we do get Rod Rosenstein and Christopher Wray under oath in front of our committees in just a few weeks. That's why that kind of thing is important.
Here's why I think that we've got a problem. And that is that we can't rely on Congress for investigations. It's been demonstrated since Benghazi in Fast and Furious. Secondly, we have an Inspector General who is drawing conclusions that frankly, it's moronic what he does, are immensely duplicitous and deceitful what he does. You choose. Because this is, I mean, his conclusions do not comport in any way to a causal relationship that is laid out, as you say clearly in the report. The misconduct of 5 FBI agents and the injection of their personal politics. They're using devices, their personal telephones in the clear, insecure phones to carry out government business, classified business, top secret business in point of fact. They were doing exactly what their so-called mid-year investigation, they didn't have the guts to call it what it was. It was the Hillary Clinton email investigation. They would then drop that and use the subterfuge mid-year, being cute and quaint. It's not funny to me. It is disgusting and appalling.
No, and I think one of the big takeaways, Lou, is the exact same people who ran the Clinton investigation, who had a bias in favor of Clinton, who did all these things that are not the typical practice when you're doing an investigation, those same people took over and ran the Russian investigation. And we learned of a new person in the report, FBI lawyer number 2. So remember, you had Strzok and Page, who ran the Clinton investigation, ran the Russian Trump investigation, and were put on Mueller's team. We now also find out from this report that FBI lawyer number 2 was part of the Clinton investigation, was the primary lawyer, Mr. Horowitz's words, on the Trump-Russia investigation at the FBI, and then was also put on Mueller's team. I find that I want to know who this lawyer is. I want to know who FBI lawyer number 2, I want to know who that individual is. We need that person to come in and be deposed as well. So that's one more person who was Clinton investigation, Trump investigation, on Mueller's team, subsequently removed from Mueller's team because of the bias that they had.
3 top attorneys within the FBI on the same train with the 3 same stops and ultimately ending up on Mueller's team. It is so clearly an anti-Trump bias It is so clearly a Hillary Clinton bias in support of her candidacy. We're not talking about abstractions here. We're not talking about philosophy. We're talking about, if we've got this, I would love to have these comments on bias. If we got that number 7 ready to go, folks in the control room, I'm speaking to you, please. I could not hear your answer. Okay, we don't have it. I'll read it.
Lou, okay, go ahead. I'm sorry.
This is Lisa Page speaking. On March 3rd, 2016, God, Trump is a loathsome human.
Yeah.
March 3rd, 2016, in that conversation. Strzok, oh my God, Trump's an idiot. March 3rd, in that conversation, he's awful. August 15, again, 2016, Strzok, I want to believe the path you threw out for consideration in Andy's office, that there's no way he gets elected. But I'm afraid we can't take that risk. It's like an insurance policy in the unlikely event you die before you're 40.
Right.
I mean, this is, and this man, Horowitz, and everybody wants to treat him with kid gloves, cannot find bias that was acted upon out of a political motive amongst those 5. Yeah. My God, Congressman, what are we to do next?
But Lou, remember this as well. The most explosive text message was the one we didn't get to see until today.
Right.
The one that says, we'll stop it. Now, think about this. The Attorney General said there's like 50-some thousand text messages between Strzok and Page, whatever number it is, some huge number. Right. We've got to see all those ones you just read. We've seen those before. The insurance policy, Trump should lose $100 million to zero, all the bias that they have. But the one that's the most explosive, they hide from us until today. Now, why is that? Why didn't we have this beforehand? That's another question I have for Mr. Rosenstein. Why didn't we see this earlier, like all those text messages you just read? The most explosive one that comes 8 days after Peter Strzok opened a counterintelligence investigation into the President of the United States. Think about that. And 6 days before the insurance policy text message. So that's the sequence, and I think that's important and certainly worthy of some questions for Mr. Rosenstein in a few weeks when he's in front of our committee.
I think it's worthy of a number of other things, too.
Yeah, maybe.
And one of them is the President of the United States now interceding and ordering absolute transparency from Rod Rosenstein is leading a deep state cover-up. It is a partisan witch hunt. He is attacking a sitting president of the United States. The political motivation of the FBI and the Justice Department are absolutely conclusive, and I don't give a damn what this Inspector General, so-called, wants to call this report. It is nothing more than a cover-up.
Ron DeSantis, Mark Meadows, and I sent a letter to the president 3 weeks ago asking the president to do just that. Give Congress the information we're entitled to get as a separate and equal branch of government to get answers for you, everyone else in the press, and most importantly, the American people. I hope the president does that. Declassify stuff, get us the information so we can get all the answers. We don't have to wait for the FBI when they decide to show us the "we'll stop it" text message. Give us all the information we're entitled to get. I'm all for that, and that's why we sent the letter a few weeks ago.